All right, so it's time to take a peek inside the mailbag for April 2019. Hey Xavier, what's up? The sky, the clouds, space, the planets, the stars, lots of things are up. You think you could do a video and breakdown of the planet Neptune? I want to know how I could utilize Neptune energy and use it to my advantage. So far in my life, it's done nothing but keep me far away from reality and deep into illusion and in the real world that is not good. Thanks, man. Well, that's what Neptune does. Sounds like you already know about it. Neptune also has an association with addictions. So, it really doesn't need a breakdown. This is the breakdown. I covered Neptune in the 7 Planetary Powers program, but it wasn't much more than this. It's great that you want to keep grounded in reality, but Neptune isn't the planet for it. Neptune is good for artists. Because it's illusionary, it's not grounded in reality, so there's creativity with that. Okay? So it's not about how best to use Neptune to ground yourself into reality when Neptune isn't good for that. It's about using other energies to help balance that out. For example, the middle pillar ritual is a good practice to have if you want to keep yourself grounded. It's about working with other energies to ground out that Neptune energy. And thank you very much for the question. This video is also hilarious. Why, thank you. I think this was on the Not So Great debate video. Yeah, I do throw in some humor here and there, and it is appreciated when it's noticed. So, thanks again. We also have more orange balls showing up. Orange balls, WTF. Hey brothers, see attached photo. But you already knew it works, LOL. Dude, I don't know where you came from, but you're saving my life, man. Missouri. I'm from Missouri. I never did the orange ball sigil, but I listened to those recordings many times, and it suddenly popped up on the trash can in the alley 3 days ago. Yeah, once it gets into your subconscious, it's going to manifest. And it's always so amusing to me when it manifests for the first time for people. They freak out, like you have superpowers, like this shouldn't be real. Just understand that all you need to do to manifest something is to put the instruction in your subconscious. There's just tricks on how to go about doing that. Sigil magic being just one of them. But you're welcome. I'm glad that I'm having such a positive impact on your life. And thank you for both listening and sharing. It is appreciated. Thank you. RSD Tyler, that's Tyler, says some interesting stuff, but he's such a pickup artist. Yes, he is. All you need to know about attracting a woman is approaching them and talk to them like a person rather than an object. Well, that's not all you need to know, but he does teach that. That's what separates him from other so-called pickup artists. PUAs have this stigma about them of trying to trick somebody into sleeping with them or in hooking up. That's not what he does. He teaches men how to be comfortable with themselves around attractive women. And of course I'm simplifying that here. There's much more to it than just that. But that is the premise in a very small nutshell. I don't know if you know this or not, but that's not always easy for men to do. There are many, many men who are uncomfortable around attractive women. And RSD teaches men how to be more confident in that regard. RSD just made me shudder. Yeah, he makes me shudder too. He is known to say some pretty cringy things with some very off-color metaphors. But see, I can look past all that if the information underneath is sound and has value. And again, this goes back to polarization. Understand what it means to be polarized. Being polarized means you'll hear a couple cringy things and you'll be like, well, the rest of it's garbage too, and you just throw out the baby with the bathwater. You don't want to listen to the rest of it. It's like flipping a light switch from on to off. He turned you off, mentally speaking, by dropping one too many F-bombs. But that doesn't mean that the ideas that he's trying to convey don't have merit, which leads into the next part. I have more respect for you than promoting him. Again, this goes back to polarity. Are you really of the belief that everyone has the same teaching style? Because our teaching styles are quite different. I don't agree with anyone 100% completely. But if I think it's good enough to help raise people out of the pit of hell that they've been trapped in, then I'm going to recommend it. And 3, I didn't promote RSD Tyler for the PUA stuff anyway. I recommended him for his meditation and grounding content, being able to cultivate positive emotions from within without having to be reliant on the validation of others. There's a whole lot going on underneath the surface for those who care to take a look. Polarization gets you to look at just the surface and say, "Ooh, that's icky. I'm not going to touch that." Which is fine. You don't have to. You are actually allowed to listen and enjoy my content without having to listen to RSD Tyler. I mean, we are 2 different people doing 2 different things with 2 different perspectives. But polarization wants you to judge one by the other. Like Danielle's Dragonfly. Occasionally I'll get someone who asks, what happened to Danielle's Dragonfly? Which was another channel that I promoted. Why isn't she a recommended channel anymore? What happened to the links? And the answer is she contacted me and didn't want to be associated with this channel anymore because I recommend RSD Tyler. Which is also fine. You can take it or leave it. But Polarization 101 is don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just understand that it's not an RSD Tyler issue. It's a polarization issue. There is much work to be done in the way of depolarization, especially if you want to be able to do more effective magic. The Hermetic principle of polarity is key to understanding everything. So bottom line, just because I linked RSD doesn't mean that I'm RSD. If I was RSD, I wouldn't have to link to him. I'd just tell you myself. I'm not even into the whole PUA thing. I recommend him for grounding and meditation, being present to the moment, skills that people need that they can apply to any area of life. He just happens to apply it to hook it up. And I do appreciate you sharing your scorn, so thank you. After watching your vid on duality in Star Wars and your sigil, not in my yard but in the neighbor's window, the children did this the next morning. Coincidence? It was glaringly obvious. Manifestation is always going to appear as a coincidence. Again, all the talk about Star Wars went into your subconscious, and it manifested with the neighbor's kids pointing their Darth Vader at you creepily out the window. This is why I tell people they need to be careful on social media. Watch what you're scrolling past. I recognized the patterns long ago before Facebook randomized the content that you would see on the feed so much. And things would happen, and I would go back and I would look to see what other people had posted and find that they aligned. I mean, just recently, this past retrograde, my computer crashed and I couldn't get into it anymore without having to reinstall Windows. I still had all my files, but I had to reinstall every app, program, font, bookmark. You get the idea. Well, right before all that, I remember some PC tech videos popping up in the recommended videos for some reason. So when you pay more attention, you'll notice things happen like that. You really got to be like a hockey goalie, deflecting the pucks of crap that are being flung at the goal of your subconscious. It's not always easy. Some things are going to get in there, and you just have to minimize the risk by staying away from it as much as you can. And I appreciate the message and picture. Thank you. With all due respect, it's prolonging a life. He's still going to die someday. I don't consider this life a blessing, but a burden. And this was in response to the testimonial of the grandfather who was healed of stage 4 cancer. Well, you're right. And you're wrong. Because, once again, it goes back to polarity. That's why it's so key to understanding everything. And yet it's so simple that it amazes me that people still don't get this. Because if you understood polarity, you would realize that life is both a blessing and a burden. Everyone has burdens, and yet everyone's blessed to be here against all astronomical odds. So it's both. But yet when you're in polarity, you only see it as one or the other. It's either a blessing or a burden. It can't be both. But yet it is both. It's only your feelings that change. When things are down, you'll consider it a burden. When things are good, you'll feel blessed. Nothing's changed really except the way you're looking at it. And if you're looking at it as a blessing, then you're more than grateful to have your life prolonged. But if you're focusing on it as being a burden, well, I wouldn't want to be the person that saves your life. You'll probably just be mad about it. Why did you save me? Yeah, you don't want to be that guy, man. Come on. So it's both. You can't have the good without the bad and vice versa. That is the nature of polarity. And polarity is the foundation of this existence. Like it or not. And I do appreciate the comment, so thanks. All right, we got time for one more. Hey, not expecting a response, but I just want to say thank you for the hard work you've put in. I appreciate all of the videos you've put out. Most videos I've watched twice for a better understanding. You have opened my mind in many ways and directed me towards other individuals, Bob Proctor for instance, which leads me to read books by Napoleon Hill, so on and so forth. I'm loving my path and I'm very grateful in general. I'm continuing to work on myself, and without you, I'm not sure this journey would have started. Much respect. And thank you. See, this is what it's all about. I mean, it's so wonderful to get a testimony of someone being healed of stage 4 cancer. But most people don't need a major miracle like that. Most people just need to be pointed in a certain direction. And then once they are, everything starts falling into place and completely changes their life for the better. So thank you for taking the time to share with me, and keep them coming. I may not be able to respond to each and every one of them, but I do read each and every one of them. Before I go, I want to share this photo that Occult fan sent in of the Rose Cross limited edition that he received in yellow, which I have to say, it looks so good in yellow that I am planning on getting one myself just before I close them out, which will be probably not long after this video hits YouTube. So get them while you can. Follow me at Twitter at Frater Xavier. Support the channel at Patreon and Subscribestar, where all supporters get early access to Mystery School videos before they're released elsewhere. I want to thank you all for sending in your questions, comments, and for listening. And I'll see you next time. Take care.